it's going.
So, first impression sitting in the back seat. Why did they put the world's smallest rear window on the world's largest sedan?
This is 4 guys in a car in the Ford Taurus 2-liter EcoBoost.
As with most other Ford products, they decided that they were going to put a small turbocharged engine in this, and it's a pretty big contrast. I mean, you've got this car that's probably one of the biggest American sedans out there now, if not the biggest.
Yeah!
And they've put in this little tiny 2-liter turbocharged engine. And how does it feel, Matt?
It feels pretty good. Let's try it though. We're gonna put it into sport mode, which is like, I don't know, you'd have to assume sort of a joke.
It's punchy.
Yeah, it is punchy.
This is also, don't they also use this in the Range Rover Evoque?
Yeah. Yes, this engine is in the Range Rover Evoque, the Ford Explorer 4-cylinder, that massive Ford Explorer.
That's a big vehicle.
And the little Focus ST.
Why don't they put this motor into the Mustang? That would be nice.
This would be a great motor for the Mustang.
Yeah, you know, this is a great motor, but in this car it's so large, and I got to assume so heavy too, probably, that, you know, it's not quick in this car. It's enough, but it's not sort of like, it's not quick.
The other thing is the 4-cylinder is more expensive than the 6-cylinder.
True.
Yes, this engine is a $1,000 option on this car.
So you have to pay more for less.
Yeah.
That's universal with Ford's EcoBoost engines, though. There's none of the cars come standard with the engine. You always have to pay more for it. And yes, you're paying more for less.
But better fuel economy.
When will you get your $1,000 back, though? You know.
Yeah,
That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's the actual price of this one as tested?
This, as tested, is $42,000.
Ouch.
Yeah, so with destination and stuff, you're looking right around the 44 mark. That's pretty pricey. You could have yourself a nice BMW 3 Series or a Mercedes C-Class for that.
As we were tootling around here and just outside of downtown Toronto on some pretty ugly roads, this thing is very quiet, very well put together. I mean, there's a lot of panels and stuff, but there's no squeaks or rattles.
There's lots of room in the back. The seats are very soft and very comfortable. You can sleep here for, a 6-hour drive.
A lot of room for perps, because this is what they use for the cop car now.
This again has the Ford My Touch system that we have talked about before, and it is still
not
just
great.
frustrating.
I tried just doing simple commands this morning. I've been spoiled by other systems that are just a little more intuitive, and it just doesn't recognize simple commands. You have to know the command structure to get it to work, and that's the thing I struggle with here.
Like with technology, Ford just feels like it's a bit out of touch, you know?
Yeah.
It just like, it's like a little bit behind, or sort of like, it just feels off-brand, you know? It's just like...
Yeah, it's like you meet with your family at Christmas dinner, and your uncle, who's not so tech savvy, he's like, I just got a new smartphone, and you're like, oh cool, what'd you get? And he's like, a BlackBerry, and you're like, it's a BlackBerry. No one buys those anymore.
But it's also hard to see right now, because there's like, it's glossy, there's like reflection and fingerprints, like it's really difficult.
Those are my fingerprints. I was eating chicken in the car before. I'm sorry.
Fried chicken?
Fried chicken.
That's why it has those the cowl on the dash, like a Mustang or something.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if you could use these with gloves, like in the winter time. Would this work with
Try it with your
gloves
skirt
on?
over your,
I don't think
over your
so.
finger.
Sweater. No.
Nope.
See, so
You got gloves on, you're not doing this.
The Taurus, it just seems like it's priced a little bit too high for what you're getting, especially in this class, and I don't know, it's just not compelling enough in really any way. It's nice that they're trying to do the tech, and they're trying to do the 4-cylinder with a lot of power. It's a jewel of an engine, but it just feels like they haven't quite unlocked the recipe of making the Taurus a car, the great car could be.
I think that's the most frustrating part about this car, is that we all know damn well that Ford is exceptional at building big cars. They built their business on making big cars, Fairlanes and, these Crown Victorias, all of these great, big, comfortable, awesome American sedans. And this one just feels, I don't know, like forced, you know what I mean? Like this interior styling, the computers, and it just feels forced. Like, just trust what you know, Ford, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially because the new Fusion sedan from Ford is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great car, and it's almost as big as this. So it's like, you know, you should probably look at the Fusion if you really want a Ford and you want a biggish sedan. The Fusion's probably a better choice.